What's up guys, it's Elliot here, and today I'm bringing you another guide, but this time it's my top tips to rank up and get out of elo hell. So recently, as you could probably tell from some gameplay on my channel, I've recently went from gold to platinum, and I'm increasing in rank, and I think I'm finally over the hump on adjusting to PC since I just adjusted this year. So if you didn't know that, yeah, it's just something about me, but I'm loving it, and I just wanted to bring some tips on what has helped me become a better player, and especially to Overwatch, because it's just the game I'm just in love with right now. So firstly, my first tip is play with friends. I cannot stress this enough. Solo queue is a nightmare. Everyone's experienced it. Everyone knows this. Solo queue is just a nightmare because people are all over the place. And even though technically you can do really well and carry teams, maybe if you're underranked, you could still play at a really high level. And some of the games you'll rank up, sometimes you want bad teammates, you'll fall down. But it's a longer process and it's a grueling process to rank up. But the problem is in solo queue, it's more likely you're going to get tilted. And when you get tilted, your performance drops. And then that's why the process can seem impossible, because you may be in gold and you may really be like a 2,700 player. But when you get tilted, you drop to maybe a 2,400 player and you're playing DPS, and then suddenly you can't get over the hump. And that happens to a lot of people, and it happened to me, and you get tilted, and it's really frustrating. So if you play with friends, it automatically gives you people to communicate with. I'm not even just suggesting you have to be in a 6-stack. I typically play with 2 or 3 people. It's really good. Because as a group, you can kind of fill the roles, you can communicate with each other, and just by physically comboing your ultimates and skills and communicating when to go in, it helps a lot. And you can collectively, as a group, play at a higher level than maybe you are individually. Maybe individually you are only 2,400, but as a group you could play at 2,700 because the coordination makes a huge difference. But it's just really important to do that. It's the best way to do it. It makes the game more fun, and obviously you probably tilt less with friends. Also, if you're coming up with other groups, they're going to probably try to communicate too. And if you lose a game where everyone's communicating, and obviously toxicity can still be an issue, but if everyone's at least playing and you lost a close game, you probably get tilted a lot less, and you can shake it off, and it's a more enjoyable experience. And by doing that, it just helps you rank up, and it also makes the process a lot more enjoyable. But that's the first point. Now secondly, don't die. It's I cannot stress this enough, and it's just the most important thing. I said this in other videos, is man advantage is so important in the game, and getting value is so important out of your hero and not dying. And the problem is, at different ranks, it means different things, because as you get better, overextending can be an issue. If you get a pick thinking you need to go in on defense can be an issue. On offense, going at the wrong time can be an issue. But not doing stupid things is really the best thing. Obviously, if you're on defense on a double capture point, as a Roadhog, don't try to stand 3 feet away from their opening doors and get a hook. Because even if you get a pick, they're gonna kill you immediately, and then by the time you have to run back all the way back, walk all the way back from spawn, their hero is gonna be right there, and they can push through the choke. Not throwing away your life by overextending is what it would be more at a higher level, by don't get in pick and then immediately throw your life away, because suddenly now you're back at even, and depending on respawn advantage, that could be a good or bad thing. But if you're on defense and you get a pick and then charge in and you throw your life away, especially as a Genji or something, well, they're 5-on-5, and then they're going to get their man back faster, but they could even get another pick and then go up 5-on-4, and then, they can just get all the advantage, and you're wasting your, all that advantage you created. Because if you get a pick, you're at least making them waste time, because they're going to be oh, we got to regroup now. And yeah, but that's the biggest thing, is at lower levels, I would stress heavily important is just playing with the team, and not trying to do stupid stuff. Play smart, and that's kind of just a general thing, and just play smart. At lower levels, obviously, again, it means something different, but at high levels, play smart, and you know what that means. At high level players, you should know how to play smart, and that's the biggest thing. So don't overextend, and don't waste all the value you're creating. So step 3 in this guide to rank up, I would say, is practice. And this is something that seems when you hear it for the first time, you're probably yeah, I got that. But people don't realize that you have to practice playing the game. Anything in life that you want to do to get good at, you have to practice it. And it's no exception to practicing your aim and your skill in a video game. And especially if you're playing DPS, I don't know why you're not trying to actively practice these skills. This is something I did very incorrectly. I think early on when I played is I just played. I didn't put a lot of effort into all the mechanics of PC, and I decided at the end of season 2, to give it a real shot. And it's really helped me in season 3 as I've been practicing my skills, and I play other games and I still practice my same mechanical skills. Most notably, I switched from aiming with a wrist because it just felt simple to do naturally with my whole arm, which took adjustment. And if you guys want to see a video on that, I might pull one out later. Let me know though. But I practiced my mechanics, and that really helped me. I changed sensitivity, I put all the effort in. I played a lot of quick play. And in Overwatch, that's what you do, and that's what I'm getting to at this point is when you change mechanical stuff like sensitivity or how you aim, or you're learning a new hero, quick play is the way to go. Spend time in quick play, do it with friends, it's more fun, but practice. And that's a really important thing. I love the arcade mode. When we did the winter loot boxes and you could get so many loot boxes from the arcade, my friends and I just went 3v3 all the time. I got better at Roadhog by playing a lot of it there, and I enjoyed a lot more. I got to play quick play, I worked on my mechanics, I got a lot of reward of loot boxes from it, and it wasn't as stressful because if we lost, it was like, oh well, we could just play another game and get a loot box and have fun and work and stuff. The other thing I do this more during the off season between the seasons of Overwatch than just during the season, is I play other FPS games, and on Overwatch I highly stress that too. Even though I like playing Hitscan, I still play Battlefield and Battlefront for Star Wars. I enjoy it. I get to work. It's the same kind of FPS shooter mechanics, and while the games are obviously different and the other games are FPS, I still get to practice my aiming. And whenever I do that, I still feel very confident coming back into Overwatch and playing like Soldier and a DPS. So while you may not want to do that, you may not like those games, for console players, you probably play COD, maybe if you play Overwatch or something, and you could obviously just play COD to practice your aiming. That's basic. And if you're on computer, PC, just playing another FPS is just really good at being able to practice your aiming. And that's just good to practice your mechanical skill. And obviously, if you just want to play Overwatch, quick play, practice there. Play a hero. If you want to learn Tracer, maybe that's something your goal is. Play her in quick play. Don't worry about playing her in ranked for a while. Typically, I would say, at the beginning of season 3, I decided I was going to play more Soldier, but I already knew how to kind of play him a little bit, so I've been playing him throughout the season. But I also have been trying to learn Tracer. I've been playing Tracer in quick play, got a lot of time on her, but I'm not even thinking about playing her until season 4. So that's the biggest thing. It takes time, and you just have to practice. And with anything, with practice will come reward, and you just got to stick with it, and you can get better. And my fourth tip is to play a role. And I guess a lot of people say play the meta, but really playing a role is a really important thing in this game. You need to have a comp that works, and that's the problem. At very low levels, people will decide, oh, it doesn't matter who we pick, kind of play it like quick play, just pick whatever. And that doesn't work in competitive because you need to have a comp that works. You need to make sure you got tanks, and you need to make sure you have healers. You're always going to have DPS because people want to play DPS. That's the point of this game. DPS is all the glory. It's the stars, the damage. It's the gold medals. But you need healers and tanks, and that's what's super important. So obviously, if you have watched my channel, or if you're new here, I'll explain it again. I'm a Rein main, or I played a lot of Rein in season 2 because you just needed it. And I was losing a lot of games and sliding down in SR literally just because teams wouldn't pick Rein. And it's really frustrating to say it, and I didn't even really want to play Rein, but I decided it's a way to rank up is to pick a role and play it. And when it's tank or healer, it's really good. My friend, you've seen a lot of videos, Suarez OP, he just plays Zen almost every game we play. He can play other healers too, but he just mains Zen whenever he can. And he's really good at it, and that's the thing. He plays that role really well, and it really helps us get up in rank and play and win a lot more games because he's playing a role and we can rely on him to play that role. And that's the biggest thing, is you want to find a role you can play. And sometimes you have to play a basic role, maybe if you're not as good at that level or stuff, but playing a role really helps. Obviously, everyone is going to want to play the DPS role, but you got to spread the love around, and that's the thing. So that also means not just picking it. It means during the game, if you're playing tank, don't switch mid-round and lose your comp, because that's another mistake people make, is they'll start with tank or support, and then when they're losing, they'll be like, oh, I should be on DPS, so then they'll just switch to DPS. Well, that's something you should not do mid-round. That's something you should do at the end of the round. You should say, or you should bring it up to your team and say, oh, can we switch? Maybe you lost point A on a 2 capture point. maybe switch it up. If you're on King of the Hill, maybe be like, oh, can I DPS this round? Communicate with your team for that. Now, obviously, at low levels, you might not be communicating and it might suck. So maybe you can switch up the type of tank you're playing. That's always something I suggest. Or if healer you're playing. Like maybe if your team is dying a lot, you can play Mercy, because if they're all gonna die, you can just res them and recover their mistakes. So obviously just thinking forward and thinking, how can I maximize this role for the team I was given? And that's something that you really need to do when you're picking or not. And finally on this topic, playing the meta is just something you hear a lot of people say in videos, and it's something that's really important, I think, if you really want to rank up quickly, because obviously every hero is kind of viable in this game to a certain degree. The problem is people are always like, oh my god, you go into a game and they're like, oh, Genji no longer meta, although that's going to change soon, but like, you just need to make sure, if you can play all the heroes and you can be really good at them, but if you're really focused on ranking up, playing meta heroes is a really good way to do that. Because there's a reason the pros use them. It's because when you max the skill on them, you can just abuse them and they're just better than the other heroes of their like class and stuff. So that's something you can focus on. If you're trying to rank up and you want to play DPS, but maybe you're like a Genji main, well, maybe you can spend some time practicing and playing Soldier in Season 3 would have been a good thing to do. And of course, in the future, you can just see that and adjust. And if you can try to play the meta, you can still play the same role. You can just adjust the hero you're picking. And then, you know, if you practice and play them, it's just another hero in your arsenal. So there's nothing bad about expanding. I'm going to move on to point 5, and that is the big communication. It's the biggest thing. On my cheat sheet here, I've written it down all caps, and that's for a reason, to remind myself, just got to communicate with your team. And communication is just everything the game's about. It's about teamwork. It's about playing together. It's 6 people playing. You can not really carry in Overwatch the way you can carry in like a MOBA type game, but you can make a huge impact, obviously solo, but you can't always win playing by yourself. And a lot of the other points that I've mentioned, even if you're playing alone, you're not dying, or maybe you are dying a lot, maybe you practice, but maybe you're playing a role, but maybe all that stuff is going wrong for you, you can still communicate. And if your team's willing to communicate and listening to them is so important, because it can fix so many issues. Because if you communicate, you're not going to die, so that solves point 2. You can play a role with your team, and that solves point 4. And you could even make friends or deal with not having to play with friends. That solves point 1. So obviously, so many things with this is you can just stack ults, as I said in a lot of videos. You can really maximize the way you're comboing and killing and stuff like that. You can really just stack abilities. You can go in together. You can reduce the amount you're going to die, which is the biggest point. And you just complement each other, because obviously a hero like Rein needs healing, and like so you can play healer, Rein, pocket them with an Ana. You could do a pharmacy combo with Pharah and Mercy. You can communicate with someone and suggest these things. And it doesn't even have to be like high level communication. At low levels, I would highly recommend just starting with a basic, like, let's get a good comp together, say hi in a game, just try to coordinate that the team can stay together. Just try to figure out the way for the team to work the best they can. Even if only like 2 people are talking, but a couple people are listening, or you're in text chat on PC, just making sure people can work together and they understand that they should work together is a really important thing. And as you get better, your communication will get better because more people will have mics, more people will be willing to listen because they're very serious about the game. And what will happen is you'll have people who will then communicate about when to go in, dive comp. You can do more of this really complicated, not really, just complicated stuff. And it can get a lot better. You can get a lot of wipes. You can play a lot more efficiently. And it's a lot more fun to play that way than having to grind through like a slow, sluggish climb of solo queue where no one's listening. It's all tilt and it's all toxicity and it's all flame just flying around in like the big jar that is competitive play. So obviously you can just solve a lot of these issues by communicating. That's why I wanted to bring it up last, because it really does. It is like the cornerstone of how to fix all the other things, because you can make strides in all the other points I've made, but if you don't communicate or you don't listen to your team, you're really missing the point of all those other things, because all those other tips are to help you communicate and they're to help you play like as a team a lot better. And if you do that, you're gonna win a lot more games. And if you win a lot more games, you're going to be happy and you're going to accomplish the point of this video, and that's to rank up. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.